this video, I'm going to show you an example of an integration with an OCR technology called Parser. So first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how this integration works, and then I'm going to show you a little bit about how it was built on ProcessMaker. So first of all, I'm going to send an email attachment to this email address that was generated by Parser. Doesn't really matter what the body or the subject of the email is, but down here you can see that I have an attachment. So I'm going to go ahead and send this to Parser. So then at this time, Parser receives the document and is going to start to extract information from the document. So here is what it looks like in Parser. What you need to do when you want to have a document for parsing, in Parser you denote the fields that you want to extract from that document, and then it will be able to parse similar structured documents. So right now you can see that the email I just sent and that attachment is in the data parsing queue. So I'm going to just take a look at it now, and it moved to the integrations queue. And then when it's done here, it's going to send a webhook back to ProcessMaker. So here it hasn't sent any webhooks, but when it's done, it will send a webhook. So that webhook was configured within ProcessMaker. And so what this does is after the document is parsed, when it sends out that webhook, it's going to kick off a request in ProcessMaker. So I'm going to go ahead and see where it's at. So I'm just going to refresh this page. All right, so it looks like it's processed. So when I go into ProcessMaker, I'm going to look into the request page. So then here, if I look at all requests, I'm going to see a new request of the Parser example. So I'm going to open the request, and I'm going to see the data that Parser has gotten the form that we built with ProcessMaker. So here is all of the information that I just parsed from the email attachment. Instead of having to send an email, you can also do it with a script that sends up documents uploaded to ProcessMaker, and then it will be parsed in Parser, and then you'll see that information extracted back out in a form like this if you were to do it with a script and uploading documents to ProcessMaker rather than the email. So the way that this has been built in ProcessMaker is here I have my process map of this example. And so you can see here that this is a signal start event where that webhook is configured. And so when ProcessMaker receives that webhook from Parser, then it kicks off this process, which goes to the review invoice data task, which is this task I just showed you. So that's one way you can kick off processes based on certain actions from an external application if they have that capability to send off that webhook. So the way we generate a webhook is if we go into signals, we can create a signal, and it would create a new signal where we can configure that webhook. I'm going to show you what we already have for Parser here. So then here we have the signal name, signal ID, we're enabling the webhook address, and then we configure the method of that webhook. So in this case, we're posting, so we're getting information from Parser and then sending it to ProcessMaker. Here we can also determine the authentication we need for that endpoint. And then so in the process, the way we add that signal to the process is through the signal start event configuration. So that's how an integration with an OCR application works within ProcessMaker.